Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. If you're new here, hello, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. I posted a video about human resources not too long ago. Let me check. It was about a year ago in June 2019. I had a lot of comments and questions on that video, and that video didn't only focus on HR. It kind of was just a vlog about my life. I just wanted it to be fun, but I had so many questions that I thought, you know what, I need to go and dive right into HR and kind of give people what they want. Let me maybe first give you a little bit of background on my background, and then hopefully by the end of this video, if you're deciding if you want to do HR or not, this can maybe clear some things up for you. Or if you're already in HR, but you just want to know other people's experiences with HR, then you've come to the right place. So I kind of wrote down how I wanted this video to flow, and at the end I'm gonna go back into my video and answer questions that people had, and then I also have some in my DMs. So let's go ahead and get started with my background and my experience. So my second year of community college, I met with a career advisor who kind of asks about your personality and asks about random careers and sees what you are more interested in and helps you kind of narrow it down to a few positions. What's funny is we actually X'd out so many different things and ended up only seeing that HR was my perfect match. After she told me that HR is what I'm meant for, I just ended up sticking with it and making it my major. Yes, HR is literally a major. You can get a degree in HR, and that's exactly what I did. I graduated last December. Woo! I actually wanted to make an I graduated post, but I don't even really know what to say about that. Also, I just spat, excuse me. So studying for HR, it's really not hard at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen the joke online where it's like, oh, you're doing business. It's like the easiest major ever. And although I had my tough times like with business calculus or my finance classes, I overall found it not to be dreadful. Okay, so now my specific experience. My first experience in HR was an HR operations internship. I'm not gonna name the companies. I might have named it before in any of my other videos, but for now I'm just gonna leave company names out and have it be as general as possible. This company was super awesome, huge company. I think it was the headquarters. There was thousands of people on that campus. I really enjoyed it, but the internship itself didn't really open me up too much to the world of HR from the perspective where I did some operations / administrative tasks like collecting and auditing, validating I-9. So this is just to authorize that people are able to work in the US. Also, I did just some random things in there. Like I remember I sifted through a whole bunch of old files because they're going all electronic. Some of the things I was doing felt like just kind of busy office work, which I didn't love, but another half of the time I was working on a very big project that was really important to the team, and it was a self-service opportunity project. So I sifted through all of their HR inboxes because they were constantly getting emails, and I analyzed the data through Excel using pivot tables. HR isn't only about hiring and firing people. In fact, HR is actually almost never the one to choose that they're firing someone. They're kind of just the one who's like doing the dirty work. Anyways, that was kind of the basics of that internship. It was a 3-month internship, so I understand why they didn't teach me any very big tasks, because by the time I really would have learned them, I would have already been on my way out. So I would say internships are a wonderful opportunity because you're getting a little bit of exposure maybe to the corporate world or the business world, and you also have something wonderful to put on your resume. My next experience is where I got full-on exposure to HR from kind of an intern perspective. Let me go into details. So this company, it is a very huge worldwide company. Our location specifically was very small, so 200 people-ish on campus. But every year we have about 100-ish interns. Yeah, you heard me right. Like the building is basically 1/3 interns in the summer, and then we also have interns throughout the year. I came in to do all of the onboarding to offboarding full cycle for all of those interns. All of them. Just so you know, this is kind of like an HR generalist internship. It is a year-long internship, so I was here since last May, and I'm still here currently looking for a new job and interviewing because the end of my internship is coming close. So what is onboarding? Well, you know how it feels like you kind of just walk through the door and it's your first day, you give them your authorization documents and you're in? Well, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. What comes first is the offer letter. I type out the offer letters. I also complete the administrative change forms. Those are ACFs. So these kind of allow you to be entered into our system. They start your email, etc. On their first day when they come in, I'm gathering all of their authorization docs and making sure that they're authorized to work in the US, like I mentioned before. I make sure that they've completed their drug screen. Some companies require drug screen, some don't. And I've also planned out a new hire orientation for them. Most interns do get a new hire orientation, and actually most full-times do, I believe. I'm not sure about every company, but for my company, I'm doing that. There is a little bit more to the onboarding, but that kind of just gives you a gist of what we do. Now let me go into the offboarding. So the offboarding is pretty simple. We call it a termination because you're being terminated from our system. Employees, they usually have a start and an end date, so it's a very voluntary termination. They know that they're going to leave at a certain time and they signed off for it. For termination, you're also using an administrative change form. That way you're sending out the documents to say, okay, you can remove them from our system because they won't work here anymore. And I'm also scheduling exit meetings, or some people call it exit interviews, kind of just to check in with them, ask them how their internship went. That way I can create improvements with the internship program when necessary, and also be able to speak with their supervisor in case they were really happy or not so happy about something, just so that their supervisor is aware and knows how to move on with their future interns. So I also do a lot in between. So in between, I'm answering a whole bunch of emails, to say the least. These emails consist of typically a lot of questions, like, what are the steps to hire an intern? Who do I contact for this? How do I change my address? So a lot of kind of basic questions like that just require a little bit of work. I'm also doing intern events, so I'm working on RSVPs, etc., to get interns to all go go-karting or go to an escape room. And typically we'll also do a lunch or dinner, so maybe I'll work on a catered lunch, or I'll find a dinner that works with our budget. I'm also working on timekeeping, so making sure that we're doing everything in accordance to the law and that everything's also fair for not only us but the interns. And something I really do love about where I work now is that I'm working on small projects with my colleagues to kind of give me more HR exposure on things that maybe I don't do day to day. An example of a project I've worked on is created a video for my company, which is very fun and awesome. I got to use my video editing skills in my HR career. I'm sure there's a few things that I left out, but that consists of the biggest part of what I really do in my HR internship currently. I really do love HR. I think it's just a wonderful overall job to have. Okay, now let's answer questions. I'm first gonna go through my YouTube questions, but this question I saw so many times here and in my DMs, and it was, can men work in HR? Now that's kind of a ridiculous question to me because of course men can work in HR. Actually, at my first internship, there was men all over the HR team. In my current company, the men that work in HR that I know of are pretty high, and they're not even in our building. When I was studying for HR at my university, about half of the classes were all men, and those classes are packed, just so you know. HR is a hot commodity right now. I mean, if you think about it, every single company needs someone in HR, otherwise their company's just not gonna run right. Okay, another question I'm seeing, it says, is it easy or hard to get hired for HR? I would say in general, landing a position is kind of hard. Landing it is what's hard. The position itself can be learned and you'll get used to it. To kind of go back to the original question, is it hard to get hired? It sort of is. You have to really research interviews, kind of learn interview tips, and have a personality that seems like it can be trusted. Obviously in HR, you have to be a very trustworthy person. You have a lot of very private information that shouldn't be shared with other people. But if you want to talk about, doing math or being tested on something while you're interviewing, you're not gonna have to deal with that. So for some people, maybe it's very easy to get hired, but for me, I definitely have to study interviews for hours to make sure I'm able to get through those rounds of interviews. Currently interviewing and a little bit of struggles here. It's very hard when someone's like, oh, we really like you, and then you just open up your email and it's like, sorry, we've decided to proceed with other candidates. You're like, I thought you liked me. The second part of that question, or I guess maybe there's a little bit more, it says, can you tell me which type of jobs I can have with my HR major? I'm planning on majoring in HR in Canada next year, so it would really help me so much. Love your vids. Thank you, Pandora La Fujo. I feel like once you're in HR, if you like the company that you're working at, you can kind of talk to anyone. And if you have a background or even just the eagerness to try something new and there's an open position, I'm pretty sure you can just do anything you want. One thing that I'm interviewing for is a sales compensation analyst role. In the requirements for the degree, it says finance or economics, but I'm an HR degree. However, I'm in the third round of interviews. They seem to really like me. You never know. That just goes to show it's just a really great way to get yourself in the business, get familiar with a corporate company or any company, and you can always just, you know, have meetings with people in different jobs. Oh, that's something I wanted to talk about also. When I was interning at my first company that was huge, I was actually meeting with people like HR business partners or finance people and just asking them about their job, because you never know what can, you know, catch your eye, and you never know if you end up being there. Another person asked, can you please tell me your salary? I just want to know if I should pursue this degree in college. Any tips? So I'm obviously not going to blatantly say my salary. It says online kind of the average pay. At my first internship, I did make in the upper 20s per hour, and in my current internship, I make around the same. However, in the places that I'm applying, there's definitely some mid 60s, but it kind of just depends on where you live, how the company's doing, and then the external market. So it's really hard to kind of decipher based on that, and I really don't think you should go into HR or any role for that matter just because of the money, because you want to be happy, and even though you're never going to just be screaming for joy every time you come into work, you at least want to somewhat love it and have a little bit of a passion for it. Okay, now let's look at the DMs. So many questions about if it's hard for males to get into HR, but yeah, I pretty much already answered that one. It's an equal playing field for everyone. Just be passionate and study for your interview. Someone asked what certifications are required for HR. You actually don't need any certifications. Like, I don't have any and I am interviewing, but there are some certifications that you can get, and I'll name 2 of them, and I know that these would be very helpful as you apply. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of be reading off of the internet as I go because I'm not gonna memorize this. Sorry. It seems like the major certifications are the SHRM CP, so a certified professional, and the SHRM SCP, so the senior certified professional. There's one more that wasn't stated in that website, and it was the PHR, which is just a professional. It just like certifies that you're a professional in human resources. I don't have any certifications personally, but would I get some? Yeah, sure. But would I would I study for? But. This question says, would an associate degree in HR and bachelor's in organizational be enough to help you become an HR manager? So I'm assuming an associate degree is something you get from your community college. I didn't know that you could get an associate degree in something in college, like HR. I'm sure this would be enough. As long as you have your degree. We've had people from different degrees apply and we have interviewed them, so it's not out of the question, but I again recommend that you ace the HR portion of the interview. That's really all that matters to get in. Okay, I kind of saw both of these questions, so I'm just gonna answer them both in one, sort of. What is the hardest part and what's the coolest part about working in HR? So I'd say the hardest part is learning how to deal with different personalities. You know, people sometimes are just angry because they're angry people, or because, I mean, you just have to remind yourself that a lot of these people aren't angry with you, they're angry with the situation. So you always kind of have to deal with people with patience, which isn't always easy. Besides that, I've actually really enjoyed HR and it hasn't been too hard for me. I just feel like, you know, maybe I was just meant to do it. I would say, because I'm such a people person, the coolest part about HR is having people trust you and just like come to you. Whatever anyone needs, they'll come to me. Everyone knows my name. It's just, it is a very special and endearing feeling. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you got this far, comment down below. Comment down below also if you have any questions. I will make sure to answer those. I think that's it for today. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you next week. Bye! Do you guys hear this? The moment I start filming, my cat has to start crunching on her food and also go take a big dump in her litter box.